Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Bindung Prayuda. In this video, I would like to present my teaching module, where this is the final project of English material and curriculum development subject, and the final project is constructing or creating a teaching module. Okay, let's come to my teaching module design. Okay, let's start with the general information, where the school identity and education unit is SMA Negeri 3 Payakumbuh with subject English. And in this teaching module, I try to create a module for 10 grade students, Fase A, with one the time allocation is for one meeting, and then the first competency that we hope for the students, they are able to understand and differentiate variety of narrative text at first, and then students profile profil pelajar Pancasila, and we hope that students are able to work together and independently work independently, and then critical, they are able to critical reasoning. And then in this teaching module, we need laptop, speaker, video, learning video and InfoCourse, and other relevant books related to the topic. And then for the students, after learning this topic, they are able to, the first, for general students, they are able to understanding the context and main idea and specific information from narrative text in terms of folklore. And then for the students with difficulties in learning, and we hope that they are able to understanding the narrative text in simple way, simple narrative text. And then for the students with high achievement, and after we gave them learning with hearts, and then they are able to create narrative text, simple narrative text in terms of folklore, in terms of they are in their environment, in their region, or where they live. And the learning model, I use a genre-based approach. And then we come to the main component. First, tujuan pembelajaran. Here, in tujuan pembelajaran, after I did CP breakdown from the curriculum, and I decided to make or to create tujuan pembelajaran after the lesson. Firstly, I would like the student. I want the students are able to understanding and analyze the context, the main idea, a specific information from variety of narrative text in terms of folklore, which is present in multimodal text dalam lingkup minat remaja, and then they are able to create a simple narrative text in terms of folklore. uh, related to where they live or the region where they live. Why I choose this learning purpose? Because firstly, I would like them to uh, understand and analyze about a narrative text, and then they are able to create a simple narrative text, but in terms of the environment surround them, not, for example, where they when they live in Payakumbuh, especially in Payakumbuh, generally in West Sumatra, and they are able to create a simple narrative text related to Payakumbuh, a story about Payakumbuh, another region, not outside the Payakumbuh or West Sumatra, for example. We do not talk about Java Island, Kalimantan, and we do not talk about the story from Java and Kalimantan and others. We only want to talk about a story or folklore around West Sumatra, and especially Payakumbuh. And pemahaman bermakna here in this teaching module, narrative text has value for our life, and then we can get some moral value from the story and for our life. And then producing narrative text in terms of regional narrative text, it is strengthen our love to our culture, and uh, as kind of preservation, cultural preservation. And we hope that the students are able to love their culture. And let's we come to the learning activities. Here, as usual, we have we have introduction for the lesson, where at first students start with greetings and praying and or reciting the Holy Quran, and this is uh, this space. Uh, we hope the student are with students and teacher communicate and they are ready to start the lesson. And then after praying and reciting the Holy Quran, teacher checking the students attendance, and then after that students prepare for the students physics and psychology before starting the lesson. In this phase, for example, teacher instruct the students to move anything which is not relate to the learning. For example, their mobile phone, or any books or any treasures surround them, and then they put it on a rubbish bin. And then it makes sure that it is hoped to make sure that the environment in the class environment is ready to do the learning process. And then the students try to motivate and prepare for the students to start the learning. And then the teacher try to review the previous lesson, and whether it is relate to the ongoing topic or not. At least the teacher try to review the previous lesson, and activate the students' memory before starting the lesson. And then for the main activities, after the introduction in the learning activities, and we come to the main activities with time allocation 70 minutes. Oh yeah, at senior high school, for one meeting, it is use 45 minutes, and it means for two learning time, uh, we use 90 minutes. And for this, the main meeting, for the main activities, I use 70 minutes. As I said, I use a genre-based approach. It means that there will be four activities in genre-based approach. The first is BKOF, for time allocation 10 minutes. In this phase, teacher try to construct the students' knowledge about the topic, where they are the teacher talking about the topic, or try to stimulate the students related to the topic that will be learned, that will be discussed. For example, okay, talking about narrative text, what comes to your mind when you hear about narrative? And this is one of one of the kinds of question to stimulate the students' memory. And then the teacher tried to show the picture about the folklore in the wall, and ask some question about the text. For example, now please pay attention to the wall, and then the teacher will show some picture on the wall, like related to folklore. I use this picture, for example, Malin Kundang and Keong Mas, Surabaya, and the Andelumut. And then the teacher showed this picture and tried to ask some questions related to the picture to the students. Yeah, for example, now please pay attention to the wall. What do you think about those pictures? And what can you infer from the picture? What kind of story is that? Do you know about the story, or where does it come from? After showing this picture, the teacher tried to ask some question and to activate the students' memory about the picture, and relate the picture with the topic. It is about folklore. And the second is modeling of the text. After stimulate the student with the picture, and the students are ready with the topic, and then the teacher will try to show the learning video. It is about uh, legend of Danau Toba, and the teacher will show the video on an infocus with the speaker. Okay, now I will show you a video related to narrative text. Please pay attention to the video. After watching the video for several minutes, and then the teacher tried to ask some question to the students, like, can you mention the generic structure of the video? What kind of structure of the video, and what kind of tenses used in the video? And then what can we learn from after watching the video? Please raise your hand. And in this page, the teacher tried to guide the students to be actively in the class, and they will raise their hand and try to speak up based on what they learned, based on what they got. And then after, for strengthening the students' understanding about the topic, in this term, narrative text in terms of folklore. After showing the video with audio in it, text in it, audio in it, and picture in it, and then the next is the teacher try to show the next text, but in this text the teacher will show only a text on the wall, on the in focus. And then the teacher tried to ask one of the students or some of the students to read the text on the wall, and then the other student will hear their friends read the text, or they can, and then they can read it by themselves. Okay, please, one of you read the text loudly. Rahman, please. Okay, now please mention each part of the unit structure of this day. After they finish reading the text on the wall, and then again, the teacher will try to ask some question, firstly about the generic structure, or uh, uh, the tenses, and then also the moral value on the text. And again, in this space, they will ask to answer, but as variation of the learning, they can raise their hand who wants to come in front of the class and write their answer on the whiteboard. Okay, there is one of the some of the question. Can you get the point of the story? And what is the lesson you got? That is the modeling of the text. After the students and teacher doing some activities like watching the video or reading a text, and it is hoped that they will understand more about the narrative text, especially folklore. And then the third pace of genre-based approach is GCOT, or joint construction of the text. For this for this space, I use time allocation for 25 minutes. Firstly, the teacher will divide the students into some group. Maybe it is consists of 3 or 4 members on each group, and they will work together. And the teacher will instruct the groups to create a kind of narrative text based on what they have heard or known in the previous lesson, or wherever they know about the story, and they will try to menggabungkan combine their background knowledge about a story related to narrative text, and they will work together. And after work together, and they will instruct to use appropriate generic structure, appropriate tenses, and what the moral value based on the story. And after 15 minutes, they can submit their group work by the representative of the group to present their work in front of the class. That's joint construction of the text. And the last, for genre-based approach phase in ICOT, after they work together, the teacher will instruct the student to work independently, individually, to create a kind of narrative text in terms of folklore related to the region where they live. And it means that where If they live in Payakumbuh, they will try to observe a story surround them. For example, Payakumbuh or 50 Kota, and they will try to create a story, narrative text related to the region where they live. Okay, for example, the teacher utterances, students, please come to your own seat. And after working in group, you have to work individually and make a kind of folklore text related to our region. And you are freely to choose based on what you have heard or known from environment around you. And they are freely to choose the kind of the story. But in the previous page, JCOT, do not allow it to use mobile phone. They are not allowed to use mobile phone to search some information about a story. It is only depends on what they have heard and what they have known in the previous lesson. Uh, they are in group, 3 or 4 students in a group. They will work together. That's the point. They will work together and to create a story. But in ICOT, they will freely to choose the story based on uh, region from environments surround them, but they are allowed to use mobile phone if they have difficulties to find information or detailed information about the story. They are allowed to use mobile phone. They are able to use mobile phone to search information on internet, or maybe asking their parents, their siblings, or anyone who can give them information. But the point is, they will be able to create narrative text with appropriate generic structure. Here in generic structure, after they submit the text, they will the teacher will do an assessment. For example, a speaking assessment like grammar, vocabulary, fluency, and pronunciation, and that's the rubric. And the main purpose is they are able to create generic narrative text, but it must be consist of generic structure, appropriate generic structure like orientation. It must be clearly complication, must be clearly, and resolution and reorientation. And after that, after they create uh, narrative text, folklore individually, they will they are allowed to submit their work in terms of like three kind of work, like uh, written form, uh, presentation, or audio. And this is the differentiation aspect that I use in this teaching module. It is product differentiation. Like they are allowed to submit their work in terms of written form, present, or they will do presentation in front of the class, or they will record their voice on mobile phone, and they will send it to the teacher's phone, to just WhatsApp. And this is the differentiation aspect that I use in this teaching model. For example, you can use your mobile phone to search any information related to the task, and after that, you may submit your task in written form or spoken form. That is the differentiation of product that I use in this teaching model. And after that, closing. teachers and students will conclude the lesson, and will the teacher will ask the students to reflect the lesson, and they will close the lesson with praying. And this is the assessment, the rubric assessment that I create based on students' work. The teacher will assess the students' work with this rubric, speaking, and I think most importantly, the students are able to create a simple narrative text with at least they will be able to create the orientation of the narrative text of the text, the complication, and the teacher will see how good the orientation, the complication, the resolution, but it is simple narrative text. Okay, I think that's all my presentation about teaching module in this final project. And this is the Janya Rifer Magic Fish. This is the text. And the teacher will show this on the wall, on the infocus, and we'll try to the guidance for the teacher to ask the students some question like the function of the first paragraph, what kind of tenses is used in text, and after the story is ended, what is the moral value we can get? Okay, that's all my presentation in this video, and I would like to say thanks to Ibu Dr. Rita Rinda MPD and Mr. Romi MPD for the guidance during the class this semester. Thank you, and I know that my teaching model is not perfect, and it has many weakness, and I hope I can learn more about this, how to create teaching model uh, in a good way and appropriate for the teaching in the class in the future. Okay, I think that's all my presentation. Thank you for watching, and sorry for all my mistakes during the presentation, and I hope it can be understood. And that's all. Finally, I said, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.